Well, Jack Diamond, thank you for coming down to do this interview. It's the first interview you've done since you were cleared. You're still a professional footballer,
Yeah.
but you've had to live for years now with the smear of being an accused rapist. I mean, first of all, how do you feel that it's over?
Yeah, I'm obviously glad that it's over, but you still had to endure what I had to endure. So, I mean, I'm obviously glad that I can talk about it now, but it's not a breath of relief like everyone thinks it will be.
Take me back to really what happened here. You connect with this woman on Tinder,
Yeah.
which is, for those who don't know, it's a dating app. It's very popular. And you start seeing each other. How would you categorise the relationship?
Yeah, like as we started, obviously I was young. This is 2 years ago as well. So
How old were you at the time?
I was 19 when I first met her. So
And how old was she?
she was 19, 20 as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're two young people,
Yeah.
teenagers, and you connect on Tinder. What was it that you saw about her you thought might be?
Well, it was just looking for a sexual, casual relationship, as you do when you're young. And she lived close to us. Obviously, I can't speak too much about everything, but yeah, just ended up speaking and getting on quite well. So.
And you had a sexual relationship for, I think, a year, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How often would you see each other?
Every 2-3 weeks, casual, nothing like planned. It wasn't too serious. But
Was there anything in that period that gave you alarm bells, or was it perfectly normal?
I think at the end there was a bit of alarm bell. There was an incident that happened where maybe she's showing that she liked me a bit more than I liked her and wanted something a bit more serious. So that's when we kind of disconnected for a while. But that was like the first time I kind of came into contact with her and started speaking to her and obviously having a relationship.
But until then, you were both in for the same thing, as far as you were concerned.
Yeah.
A sort of transactional sexual relationship. You see each other for sex and you get on well, but that's it. It's not a full-blown relationship as such.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how you would.
That's how I would describe it. Yeah.
Would either of you see other people at the same time or not?
I'm not sure. It wasn't really like a regular check-up thing kind of chat. We'll just say, "Are you free this time?" Do you know what I mean? Very casual, and then, do you know what I mean? See each other, then whoever would text next. But
let's get then to the night that she says that you raped her. You've now been cleared of all charges, obviously. What happened?
Well, it was nothing out the ordinary at all that night. The only thing that didn't obviously happen was one of the only times we didn't have sex.
Had you gone out that night? Or?
I'd been out to see because my season had finished, so I went to see a few friends just locally, and then I got back at about 10, half 10, and then as I usually would, or she would, like on a Saturday night or whatever, we'd give each other a text, see what she was doing, and then she ended up coming round
to your place?
To my place at about 20 minutes after I called her. So.
And what happened?
Well, she just came in, just let herself in, because obviously I'd been seeing her for so long now. It was very informal. So she just came in, let herself in, came upstairs, and then she was undressed and got on my bed. And then just normal, just chatting a little bit, and then start kissing, touching, everything like this, which she says was all consensual. And then I've like initiated like doing stuff. She's also done that, just like touching and stuff like that. And then she's basically got on top of us to try and initiate sex, and I don't want to have sex basically.
You weren't in the mood.
I wasn't in the mood. Like I just got home. It was very late. So then she just turned over and kind of like a strop, as I thought. But obviously I kind of brushed it off as like, oh, she's just in a bit of a huff. So then I've initiated sex back, and we're just kissing again. And then I'm on top of her, and she's just said, "I think the moment's gone." And I was like, right, okay, no problem. Got off, and then about 30 minutes later, she just got up and left, and said. She just went, "Do you want us to post the keys for the letterbox and lock the door and everything?" And I was like, "Yeah, thanks, no problem."
So you felt this was the end?
Yeah, I was just like, I thought she was just in a bit of a huff. I didn't think anything serious. She didn't say anything. Do you know what I mean? I was very innocuous, or I didn't really understand anything had happened. I didn't think there was anything.
Nothing
crazy.
untoward?
No, nothing that would suspect that she would be angry or...
When you talked about the alarm bells that happened before that, what was that?
Just, she would text us and say, "Do you want to do like other activities?" that was obviously like more of a relationship activities.
And you didn't want to do that?
No, like, because I'd always say it, I was like, listen, it's just, I'm not looking for anything serious. And
But you were always honest with
yeah,
her,
yeah,
as
I'd
far as
always
you're
said
concerned.
that. Yeah.
But she clearly wanted something maybe a bit more than you could give her.
Yeah, but then she would always say that, oh yeah, I know, that's fine. But then she would always drop these little things that would obviously mean that it looks like more than it actually is.
So she left.
Yeah.
And she left the keys in the house.
Yeah.
Through the letterbox.
Locked the door, put the keys through the letterbox.
And she's gone.
Yeah.
And then what's the next you hear?
About 8:30 in the morning, because I was actually meant to be going on like a end of season like party kind of thing with the team that I'd been at. So I was expecting someone to come pick us up. And then I thought, oh, well, a bit early, do you know what I mean? I'm not supposed to be getting picked up yet. And then obviously the police came to the door.
To your house?
Yeah. And I didn't really know what to say. And they're like, hi, Jack, we know who you are. Can we come in? I'm like, yeah, fine. And I still didn't have a clue. Just like an incident happened with a girl last night, you know? And I was like just in shock, because obviously I knew exactly what went on that night.
And you'd known her for a year.
Yeah,
and you'd had
of course. And I think the fact that they came and said something had happened and I knew nothing had happened, that it was just instant in the dark, like
What
shock.
did you feel in that moment?
Just absolute shock, because I didn't know what could have been said, because obviously I knew whatever's been said is obviously false.
What happened then?
Well, I'm obviously trying to text my friend saying something's came up, I can't make it. They're trying to take my phone, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and then they're mentioning football, they're saying how's football and stuff. So like my head's just spinning at this point. And then like, we're gonna have to take you down to the station to get your fingerprints done. But obviously at the time, I got arrested for digital penetration. So the rape didn't get mentioned until the day I got charged. So I didn't have a clue that was going to be in. And obviously it's a big difference, you know what I mean? It's a horrendous crime. So, and then I've got taken to the station, Wall's End, I think it was. And I was there for, they didn't really say anything, just took me clothes, took me trainers. And then I was in a cell from about 9 o'clock till about 3. I didn't hear
So
anything.
you're a professional footballer
Yeah.
at 19. You're living your dream,
Yeah.
earning great money, playing the game you love, everything going well for you. And then suddenly you're in a prison cell
Yeah.
and you're being accused of assaulting this girl.
Yeah.
You don't know quite the full scale of the charges at that stage, but in those hours, what is going through your head?
Just disbelief, and obviously they'd said it was digital penetration. That's what they said I was getting arrested for, and I didn't know what that was. Do you know what I mean? I was 20, 19, 20, 21 at the time. I didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue what it was. So I'm saying, what's this? What does that mean? And then they're briefly telling us, saying they need to swab my fingers, and I'm thinking, what the hell? So then they've took us to the cells, and I'm just sat there thinking, I don't know what. I think that was the scariest thing, because I didn't know what had been said, what she'd said.
Terrifying.
Yeah, well, because I'm sitting there thinking, if I can get arrested for something that I don't even know what's been said, I just knew whatever's going to be said is going to be false.
Could you call anybody?
They asked us to, if I wanted to, but I don't really think it would have been a nice phone call to receive, from my parents. So I was just sitting there thinking, well, if this is happening, what am I going to do?
Did your whole life flash before you? Did you think this might be the end?
Yeah, because I was like, well, I'm finished. I was like, I'm going to get out here, get my phone back, and it's just going to be full of...
Everyone's going to know Sunderland footballer arrested for sexual assault, right?
Yeah, so obviously the fear of that, and then I've went into, I think it was about 4 o'clock, I finally got into an interview to give a statement. So I've been there since like 9.
Did you have a lawyer?
Yeah, I got just a barrister that they called, a solicitor, sorry.
A duty solicitor?
Yeah. So he just got called. And when he came, then he kind of like told us everything that had happened, and she hadn't given a statement. So I was like, what do you mean she's not given a statement? So what had happened is she basically said a passing comment to our mate, like saying, oh, he's tried to force himself on us, or something along them lines. And then our mate basically told her father, and our dad's hit the roof as you would. And like, it's unbelievable.
So it spiraled out of control.
And then at that point, well, even in the tapes, just they're saying, oh, well, she doesn't want to ring the police. She's saying to her dad, no, don't call the police and everything. But as a father, as you would, that's the first thing you do is call the police. So then she's not saying, he's basically just saying, relaying what's been said off this. And I've got there, and there was a bit of a relief because I was like, oh, her dad's rang in. Like, it's not her. Her dad's just angry or something. I was trying to like make it.
Trying to rationalise.
Yeah. And then the solicitor was basically saying, oh, well, if you want to talk, you can talk. And I was like, yeah, I've got nothing to hide. I'll just tell the truth. I'll just tell exactly what's happened. Like, it's innocuous. It's not going to harm anything of me. So then I've told them, and they went, all right, yeah, no problem. And then you'll get a letter or something. So then that was it. And then I think there was one more point where I got called in for another interview.
And did you tell the club at this stage or not?
Yeah, I think I told the club because they found out like a day later, and then I've been called in for a meeting, and then I've had to tell them the whole story, and they were like, "All right, okay, that's fine." And then
what about your family? How did they react?
Oh well, it was tough because my family thought I was in Leeds. They thought I was out, and then my mum's texting my phone, obviously, asking us where are you, how are you doing, and obviously she's not heard from us for like 7 hours. So then I've told her, I was like, listen, I've just got out of police station.
She must have been horrified.
Yeah, I think she just hung up the phone. So then I was like, I'll come straight round. And then basically went and told them, and then...
What a horrendous thing for you to have to do.
Yeah. Uncomfortable, obviously, because they're going, well, how can this happen if... And I'm still in shock, so I'm still trying to think, how has this actually happened? And then I've obviously tried to reassure them because I don't want them to be worrying about me. So, yeah, and then not heard anything for a while. And then she still hadn't given a statement at this point.
Had it got public at this stage or not?
No. So she hadn't given a statement for like a month. And I was waiting to see, well, what's going to happen? Where's this going to go?
And was it on your mind all the time?
Yeah. Because I was just about to go on holiday, obviously, because the season had finished. And I didn't really want to go anymore because, obviously, I was terrified of girls at that point because I was like, what's happened here? I don't want to go away anywhere. I just want to... Did
you tell any of your teammates?
Yeah, because I lived with one of them at the time. Anthony Patterson I lived with.
Was he there on the night?
Yeah. She'd actually texted him on the night as well. And it was... The story gets a bit wild, but I've went to the toilet in the middle of the night, and she said that she thought we were both going to gang rape her because I went to the toilet, and then she'd said that she'd left the house to her dad at that point, which I hadn't. She'd waited, like she could have just left if that was really the case. I've came back, and then half an hour went by. Then she's got up and left.
So when was the moment that you realised you were going to be charged?
So I didn't hear anything for about a year. And then kind of just thought, oh, it's went away, like ridiculous. I went on loan, had to tell the loan club.
You went to Carlisle, I think.
No, it was Lincoln.
You went to Lincoln first, yeah.
So, and then obviously they found out. So I had to have the conversation, tell the story again to someone I'd never met before in my life, which was uncomfortable again. But then I've kind of just forgot about it slowly, thinking, oh, it's went away. And then I think I came home midweek for some reason. I think I was shopping with my mum at the time. And then I got the call off the solicitor, who obviously with last time, and I've not heard him for a year. So I was thinking, oh my God, like my heart just sunk. So I've answered the phone and I just went, listen, I'm out with my parents at the moment. Can I call you when I return home? He's like, yeah. And then I'm just obviously praying for the best because I know that this is obviously going to be an answer. So I've dropped my mum back off because I was like, good or bad news, I don't want to be there I don't want her to be there when I'm here. So I went back to my house and then rang him back. And he just said, I think you might want to sit down. You've been charged of rape and digital penetration. And obviously that was the first time I'd even heard about the rape. So as soon
What did that word do to you?
I just couldn't understand it. It was just like, at that point, it was just like everything's done. Like football wasn't in my head. Like friends when I met, it was just like my family. Like I was just thinking this is going to change everything, of course. So like at that point, I just thought, well, football's never happening. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. The end of your career.
Because it was just like, if this can happen, can go this far, I was like, I'm done. Because if it can go this far, then it can.
And when did your name get out in relation to that charge?
2 days later. A day later.
It was in all the papers.
Yeah.
I mean, that, when you're named next to the word rape, is about as bad as it can get for you, right?
Yeah.
You're a young man, and this is what everyone is reading about you.
Yeah.
What was that like, to have to read headlines about yourself like that?
It was scary because obviously I knew what had went on, what had happened, and then I'm sat there kind of defenseless. Can't say, listen, I didn't do this. Do you know what I mean? I can't just pop up everywhere and go every news story. I'm innocent, because you're not really allowed to. You're just silent.
What was the reaction from people in the streets and stuff?
I didn't really leave the house for about a week or two. I'd went, because I was at home at the time and lived by myself. They moved my friend, the club had moved my friend out the house.
And they suspended you, right?
Yeah, so a day later I got suspended. And obviously I remember being in the meeting and just thinking, what am I going to do? Like, I've played football for 18 years of my life, like, and now it just stopped. And then obviously I've got this over my head, so I was like...
And how long was it until the trial?
A year.
So you basically, this is 2 years of your life you've had to live with this.
Yeah.
And when it gets to trial, and you see this girl again, presumably that's the first time you've seen her again, is it?
Yeah, well, I didn't see her. She was blocked off from everyone.
And nobody knew who she was?
No. Well, this is the thing. Like, obviously, when the police released the statement, they've named us, they've put my address in it, a big picture of me with man rapes. Well, the name just said Jack Diamond. With, and then I'm reading that and I'm thinking, how can they do this? Do you know what I mean?
And she remains anonymous?
Yeah.
To this day? I mean, you can't say who it is.
The police are supposed to be there to protect us, though. Putting that next to my name with my address in, first thing I'm thinking is someone's going to come to my house or someone's going to try and do something.
Did you get any bad incidents like that?
No, but like...
You're thinking about it all the time?
Thinking about it. Like the first week I would obviously see my parents quite a lot the first week. And I would be on my driveway and I would just not get out of the car until there was no one in the street. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to speak to my neighbours because obviously they all knew. So I think I kind of just avoided all contact with everyone at the time except my family.
Eventually, at the end of the trial, how long did it last, the trial?
It was about 5 days, I believe. Yeah.
And at the end of it, you had a jury?
Yeah.
And you're looking at these 12 people and they're going to decide the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And when they give the verdict, what is that feeling like when you're waiting as you see them about to deliver the verdict?
Well, it was a bit crazy because we thought it was going to be a day because there was only about an hour left of the actual court time. So we've went to the shop to be like, oh, it's probably going to be another day. So I'm thinking, I'm going to have to wait another day for all this. And then I think we've literally got to the bottom of the stairs and my dad's texted saying, the clerk's looking for you. So like my barrister's panicking, thinking, oh, this is it. They can't have done it this quick. And then came in and I was just looking forward. I didn't want to look at them, didn't want to look at anyone. And obviously because there was 2 counts, I heard the first not guilty and then I heard the second and then, yeah, it was crazy, but the feeling of like relief lasted, I would say, about 2 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, and because then after I just think, all of this for 7 minutes, all of this for this to be this quick, I was like, how ridiculous.
Were you emotional in that moment?
Yeah.
You cried?
Yeah. I think my whole family did. Even my barrister cried.
I mean, what was your barrister cried?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah. Well, Gareth Derbyshire, he worked quite close. He saw us this whole time.
He actually cried, your barrister?
Yeah. Because when I first got charged, obviously I went away for a bit. He looked after us all this time and kind of prepped us.
You had a real bond.
Yeah. So,
How was your mum when you got cleared?
yeah, she was just in tears. My sister and my dad, every single person. You know what I mean? I think that was the hardest thing as well, because obviously I told her this whole time, I was putting on, trying to be confident, said it's going to be all right, it's going to be all right. More for my family, because I think if they saw me struggling and upset, but I think it was just, I was happy for them as well.
How long did the jury take to deliberate?
7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
So you went through over 2 years of hell, and it took a jury just 7 minutes to clear you.
Yeah.
Which is an emphatic repudiation of what this woman had been claiming. Yeah. They just didn't believe what she was saying. But you were dragged through this hell for so long.
Yeah.
And even as you sit here now, a cleared man, you know for the rest of your life, it'll have Jack Diamond and the word rape, and you'll be forever associated with that.
Yeah.
When you play football, you're going to play, well, I don't know what's been happening. What's been happening with opposition fans? Do they hurl abuse at you?
I did the other day. I came off injured, so I had to walk past the hall away.
That was your first game back?
Yeah. So I got...
Who were you playing? You were playing for Carlisle against?
Yeah, Leyton Orient.
And what happened?
Well, I came off injured, and I was obviously, at that point, I was annoyed anyways. But then I've had to walk around the whole pitch, because you can't just walk off for quickness. And obviously I got the chance straight away as I'm walking past them, and I was just thinking...
What was the chance?
She said no, Diamond, she said no.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm kind of expecting it.
It's still horrible.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to get that from away fans everywhere. How are you going to deal with that mentally?
I think just with everything this whole time, it's just been something positive will come out of it, or there's something I can do to either use it to fuel us, just trying not to react. Do you know what I mean? I think this whole time has been mentally strong for us, because I've obviously had papers name is basically called as the worst thing in the world. My family's been obviously associated, I've not just been the one struggling through it. They took a few weeks off work because they were embarrassed.
Right, everybody, of course.
Yeah,
it's the worst imaginable thing.
Yeah.
You're accused of rape. All your family have to deal with that. All your friends have to deal with that.
Yeah, well, it's everything, because obviously I'm suspended, can't use anything. And then...
Do you hope to go back to Sunderland and play for them?
At the moment in my career, I can't see... I'm obviously my contract's up in the summer, so I can't see playing for them again. But obviously the whole time I've been suspended because of my name, obviously attached with this word. People I've seen for 10 plus years, gym, for keeping fit. Do you know what I mean? They didn't want us in. Well, it's not that they didn't want us in, but because they knew us, they were like, yeah, you can come in, but not when anyone else is there. Do you know what I mean?
You're like a pariah.
Yeah. So
that moment when you played again last week and you ran out on the pitch.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
Yeah, it was just adrenaline through the roof. I've obviously thought about it this whole time, and I just thought, obviously, what could have went on the other side as well, and then just a long time coming.
Your case is similar to a guy interviewed called Jordan Trengrove. He was very young, a complete fantasist, invented stories similar about him, and it ruined his life, certainly for a long time. And it sparks again this whole debate, as we were saying, about the anonymity issue. How do you feel? I mean, do you feel, after what you've been through, and indeed what Jordan went through, do you think that it's unfair that only the man who's accused gets named? Do you think it would be right to change the law so that if you bring an allegation of rape, both sides get named, or both sides are anonymous? Which do you think would be fairer?
I think both sides should definitely be anonymous.
Until a point of conviction?
Of course, because...
Because if you had been, if the law did that, the papers couldn't have mentioned your name, nobody would have known it was you, you would have been acquitted and no one would have known anything about it, and you would sit here, you wouldn't be sitting here, you wouldn't need to be, because no one would know it was you.
Yeah, of course, and I think I probably wouldn't be suspended either, obviously because the club's just got to protect themselves on a PR side. But I think the anonymity thing, obviously, it's there to protect.
Was it cowardly of Sunderland to not let you carry on until you were, or if you were convicted? I mean, if you're an innocent man.
Yeah, I think the suspension happens a lot. Obviously, I know a lot of people that this has happened to, and most of the time they get suspended. But I think just to make sure that the players got the best thing, especially in football, because obviously you see men's rights, men's mental health getting preached everywhere now. But
Well, this must have devastated your mental health.
yeah, well, it's that, and there's no real support. You know what I mean? You get someone saying, "Oh, do you want to speak to this counsellor or something?" And no, I don't really want to, because I don't want to tell someone I don't know about my problems. I want to be playing football.
What are your feelings towards the girl who made these allegations against you?
I wouldn't say it's hatred. I think I'm embarrassed for her.
Do you think it all got out of control? That once her father found out and reacted the way he did and the police got involved, she felt she just couldn't go back on it?
Yeah, well, they can't. Like, the police push it so much, CPS push it so much to try and get these conviction rates they want higher.
Because the conviction rates for rape are very, very small.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of women say, well, we just don't complain because what's the point?
Yeah.
They feel the system's unfair to them.
Yeah, well, I don't think the thing to do is to push every single one through, because you have ones like this and ones like other scenarios which are just a waste of everyone's time and money.
How's it affected you with other girls now? I mean, have you been able to have a relationship since?
No. Well, obviously, because this has been going on 2 years as well. Obviously, it was known for a year. But then even when it wasn't known, I wasn't publicly...
Have you had any sexual relationship at all since?
No.
And how long?
About a year now since it's been going on. Since obviously I've been named, I'm not going to...
Since you were charged and named?
Yeah.
So a young man, and you just don't want to take the chance.
No.
I mean, that's terrible.
It's crazy, because even my friends, obviously, my close friends now, when I tell them how ridiculous and how scary it can actually be, because it can be one word against the other and then you're going to court.
Yeah.
It can literally be that easy. So I tell them all to be careful, and they're like, do you know what, this has changed the way I look at, like, do you know, as you would as a young lad, sometimes then they go out and you get a girl. It's scared a lot of people that I'm close to.
I'm sure. Jack, it's good to meet you, and thank you for being so honest with the interview. I think it's awful what happened to you. I think it is something that you need to try and put it behind you now if you can. It's very difficult, I know that. You'll be reminded of it every match you play by, I'm sure, opposition fans. But in a way, I think what you said about having it fuel you may make you an even better player.
Definitely.
You never know. What doesn't break you makes you stronger, is the saying, right?
Yeah,
and I want to wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
Unless you play Arsenal. And in that eventuality, I want you to lose.
No worries.
Otherwise, I hope you win.
Cheers.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.